This week we talk about one of the most slept on brands in the AR-15 game. Stick around, let's talk about it. Hey everybody, Randy Reviews It here. So this week we're talking about the Griffin Armament MK2. So this is going to be a great video for me. It's going to be a lot of fun because, spoiler alert, there is almost no cons with this gun. It is amazing, like stunningly good. And it brings me joy when I get to review something that is reasonably priced but offers amazing features and performs very, very well. And that's what you're going to find. So let's get into Griffin Armament, the MK2, what it is, what the Mk1 was, the difference, and kind of the pros. We'll talk about the only thing that I didn't like, which is me nitpicking. It's personal preference. But yeah, let's get into it. So this is the second iteration of an AR-15 made by Griffin Armament out of Watertown, Wisconsin, which I was trying to hit up Wisconsin companies to add to my AR tier list because that's where I'm originally from. And I was like, man, I should hit them up. I haven't heard much. I know that they're suppressors. There was the whole thing with Pew Science or whatever it is, the sound suppression rankings, and Griffin's like, nah, we do our own stuff, you know. And then 1911 Syndicate did a video about a 300 blackout while I was in the process of trying to reach out to Griffin and get this. And I paid for this, and I'm keeping this, and I'm loving this, and I'm shooting this. So let's talk about that as well. But 1911 Syndicate did a video on a 300 blackout where Jake was basically saying, I'm tired of getting 300 blackouts that don't run. This is my last hope. And guess what? It ran amazing. It sounds amazing. It shot amazing. So I have the 11.5 pistol here with my OSS Helix QD on here, because my dual lock 5 is still in jail. I did a trust with it. I'm waiting on that. I'm excited for that because I got the dual lock 5 to go with this. So it's kind of the whole Griffin package down the road. First, let's talk price. So the MK2 comes in at about $17.50 oysters. And I say oysters because I like them more than clams. If you get the Sunny reference, you're awesome. If you don't, oh well. But it comes in about $17.50, and I think it's a hell of a deal. So the big difference between the MK2 and the MK1, because the MK1 comes in at 1,500 oysters. So this being $17.50, you're like, what am I getting more? Well, this has an ambi lower on it that is very intuitive. And if you guys saw my AR tier list video, I think American Defense Manufacturing makes some good stuff. Well, there is a podcast on Griffin's own site where the guy who designed the ADM lower was like, look, I want to do this forged. Here's what we got to do. And they're like, nah, we don't want to do that. We're going to do billet. And he goes, well, it'll be better forged. Like, it'll be a better lower receiver. And they're like, nah, you know, we're going to go with this. So then he started working with Griffin, and spoiler alert, they came out with a forged ambi lower that is very intuitive. So to give you a little idea on how this works, there is just this kind of slider where if I want to lock it back, I just flick that up. If I want it forward, I just let it go. The mag release on both sides. But this, like, I'm right-handed. I usually hate ambi stuff, but this works really, really well. Like when I'm on the bench and shooting and I just want to, you know, lock it open, like I got a show open for an RSO or something, it's so easy, just flicking that. I don't have to go around here. I can just keep my hand out, like flick, click, done. It's really, really intuitive. It's also, I like it better than, I was just at GunCon a few weeks ago, and there's like the Victor Industries and Radian and some of those other ones. It's like they have a button here, and it's not intuitive for me because the button, I think, mag release, this swings up and down so you don't end up like hitting it. Like I can clear this with my fat finger, still press the mag release really, really well. So this lower, I didn't think it would be a big deal. It is. This is like my favorite lower right now, hands down, because the way that they did this, it's just great. And it's not about a lower with this gun necessarily, or just a lower, I should say, because this gun shocked the hell out of me the first time I shot it. Why? Because I put the suppressor on and fired it from suppressed right away, and it was very soft shooting, zero gas, and I mean zero gas. And my brass was ejecting right where it should. It was amazing. It was very accurate. I was getting hits on target, like at 170 with just this red dot, like it was nothing. And let's talk about why it shoots so well suppressed. So Griffin Armament, obviously a suppressor company, so they designed a gun that should be shot suppressed, but still runs without being suppressed. So they got their own proprietary buffer, which it's like a suppressed designated buffer, and like everything in there. Their enhanced buffer is great. I love it. Like I've tried stuff on H2s and things like that. It kind of like behaves like that, but it seems like it does something different where it's just softer. So like they did that so well. And then we'll roll some clips in, but there is a gas port here next to the charging handle on the side. So like how some of those charging handles like Break Arms and things like that, they got a little channel cut in there. This doesn't. It's actually got a whole hole drilled in the side where none of that gas is coming out the top. It's all going under the little roof, if you will, or the hood of the charging handle, and then out the side slowly. And it like trickles out after you've done a string of fire. It's really wild to see. It's very nice. Their charging handle is also ambi. And this snatch is what it's called. Suppressor normal ambi configurable H. Or something like that. So their charging handle is great. I love it. I love so many things about this gun. Their handguard is very beefy on here. It looks like it's just kind of a clam retention, but it's got 4 screws in there. Everything that they have on this is torqued down very, very well. The gas block is pinned. It's non-adjustable, but it's probably one of the best guns that I've ever shot out of the box gas-wise. Like and just overall in general. So the trigger, it's decent. It's not like some Geisley or anything like that, but I was able to use it very, very well. I had to splice this clip in because I got too excited and I forgot to talk about all the parts of this gun. So let's talk about the barrel. So the barrel is a stainless one. It's their profile. It's mid-length gas. They shot one of these suppressed 47,000 rounds, and it still had all the rifling and everything like that. Like, this thing is very, very duty built. I got Griffin's sight pulled up here as well. The suppressor optimized barrel or optimized buffer system is why it's so soft. You know, I talked about that a little bit. It's a tuned mid-length gas system, so it's the way that they tune it with their barrels, everything. It's a 416R stainless. It's 223 wild chambered, so you get that little bit tighter chamber that gives you more accuracy, especially on the longer lengths. With this being 11.5, I'm not sure how much it matters, but the Mark 1 is the exact same thing with a regular lower, or I should say a mil-spec kind of standard lower. So if you don't need an ambi, or you're not interested in ambi, the Mark 1 will serve you well for the 1500. If you want to try the ambi, the Mark 2 is where it's at. I love this ambi lower, and I usually hate ambi things because left-handed is wrong-handed. But yeah, let's get back to the rest of the video. The other thing that I had to try with it, so Griffin makes their own iron sights, and I wanted to try these out because they got a little bit of a different, if I can get that in there, where the detent is like in front and you can spin the turret, and the way that these fit on things, and they're just metal. It's one diopter on the back here. They're really heavy duty built. They work great. I got them dialed in really quick. The one thing that I didn't like, and that was probably the only thing with this sight, is you still kind of have to use a tool, but like the typical AR-15 front sight tools are almost a little bit too small for the disc that you're trying to turn on this. So you may be able to get by without a tool. I found it was a lot easier to adjust with a tool, but overall they're locked in, they're dialed in, and they've been staying there. So this gun shoots amazing. Bolt, everything, the feel of it. It's got their proprietary kind of plastic grip, and then I got these panels with it too. This back grip right here, I'm actually a fan of, and I don't like A2 stuff, but this has a little bit of a different angle, and it's not that aggressive, but it still feels really good when you shoot it. These up here, and this is the personal preference part, they're a little bit too, they stick off the rail a little bit too much for me. They're kind of fatter, and with me having a fat meat hands, there's less diameter in the middle of my hand to grab around things without giving it a crushed grip. So for me, they're not the best, but these are pretty sought after. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is changing out this and changing out these and putting them aside for a giveaway later. You'll get the full Griffin furniture, because they don't even sell this furniture separate. It's kind of coveted, at least from what I've seen. But this gun is so amazing. I can't stress enough how much I'm impressed with this gun. To me, this might be, and until something comes in and defeats it, the best mid-tier gun out there. And I say mid-tier, where mid-tier is that 1500 to 2000 for me. Somewhere around there, maybe 1300 to 2000. But this, I think, can compete with anything as far as shit hits the fan. This was if you're hey, you gotta leave the house, you can only grab one thing. I have blackout defense, I have type A. I think I'm still grabbing this because the gas block's pinned, the barrel is great, everything's so overbuilt with this, but you don't feel it from a weight standpoint, and it's got all the features of that you'd see in a $2,400 gun for $700 less. It's wild how good this is. And Griffin, if you're watching, the only thing I don't like with the actual gun itself, are these safety selectors. So it's got an ambi safety selector. It looks like everyone else's, where it's kind of the short side on strong side. But if you can see, here, it still gets in my way when I'm pulling the trigger, which is why I like that forward control group, one where you can switch it out to a drum. So if Griffin offered just like the ability, because it looks like we could just use a screw and take this apart. If they had the ability to just put a round drum on this side and sent that out with it, that would be awesome. So yeah, Griffin nailed it. They absolutely destroyed it. They have a very nice flared mag well on this too. I was able to just slap mags into this thing and keep going. Oh man, this is such a good gun. I've been reviewing this for probably like 2.5, 3 months now because I wanted to make sure I really kind of pushed it. And I want to say in that 3 months, even though I was at like GunCon and everything, few other things, I think I got about 1,500 through this now, give or take, somewhere around there. I know it's over 1,000. It's easily over 1,000. And I got the Romeo 5 in here, which has been holding up really, really well. And just paired with this, like, I feel like, and I'm sorry for anyone that's purchased a Type A. I still like my Type A's. But I feel like after finding out about a Griffin Armament, if I would have got this gun first, I probably wouldn't have bought a Type A. This thing just runs suppressed so well. I don't have to mess with any damn gas block. It shoots almost as soft. My Type A is tuned really, really well with an adjustable gas block. It's got H2 buffer. It shoots a little softer than this, but minuscule. But this shoots softer than that Victor Industries I tried at GunCon that they said was the softest shooting AR. This shoots softer than that. Shoots amazing. I can't wait to get my Dual Lock 5. Watch other YouTubers. I think 110 SAS Actual Cody over there, he did a review on this. He loved it. I think he had a Dual Lock or an HRT can. He had an HRT can, I believe, on his. Jake has the HRT can. I decided to go with the Dual Lock 5. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit better suppression, supposedly, but it's not, the longevity is less, supposedly. But it's not titanium, so I'm not too worried about the longevity. Plus, Griffin has one of the best warranties in the game. Like, you should see, like, I think they posted that some guy warranted the suppressor that was in a house fire, and Griffin just replaced it. Yeah, we got you, and sent it out. So it's like, Griffin as a company is killing it right now, and not enough people know about it. And I hope that if you watch my videos and you're interested in getting this, I'm not saying go out, you have to go out and buy this. But if you're interested in getting a Hell's Yeah, Hell and Back AR-15, I would tell you Griffin Armament. You know, like, this is an amazing gun. They're doing amazing things over there. I can't stress this enough. I'd take this over a Daniel Defense. I'd take this over a BCM. I'm not even playing with that shit. This thing I would take over both those in an instant. And guess what? It's right around that same price. So it's not like you have to say, oh, do I want to spend $2,400? No. This thing beats it, I think. Especially if you're suppressing. Let's throw that in there. If you're wanting a suppressor gun, which all of you should, I hope, this thing's going to beat them out of the box, hands down. It's just tuned different. It's just built different, in the words of the great Joe Rogan. He's built different, bro. You know? So yeah, it's an amazing gun, and I'm going to keep shooting it. And in fact, this is probably going to be my new home defense gun when the Dual Lock 5 rolls in, or one of my home defense guns. I've been doing some 300 blackout sub testing, and that's been fun. That's going to be the video coming right after this next week. So check that out. I did some Paul Harrell meat targets. If you have any questions about this, leave a comment, leave a like. Like 98% of my views are people that are not subscribed. So if you can subscribe, that would be cool, because it would give my channel more street cred. But overall, this gun is amazing. Griffin, you knocked it out of the park. And if you watch this, thanks. Thanks a lot for everything that you've built into this, and that you made my job so much more fun because I really do enjoy finding these sleepers that do amazingly well instead of products that don't live up to the hype. All right, everyone. Take care.